me, Stephanie from the library, and I am going to be reading to you today from my home library. Have you been reading a lot of books? I know that I have, and I have one of my favorite books to share with you today. It is the story of Pokko and her drum. I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can read the pictures while I read the words. Now, also while I'm reading, I want you to be thinking about whether or not giving Pokko a drum is a good idea. And I want you to be thinking about how Pokko is different from her parents. Here we go. Now, the other special thing about Pokko is that she lives in a house that is a tiny mushroom. I'll show you some more back here. Would you like to live in a tiny mushroom house? I know that I would. Here we go. Pokko and the Drum by Matthew Forsythe. The biggest mistake Pokko's parents ever made was giving her a drum. They had made other mistakes before. Like the slingshot. There she is, about to hurl herself into space. And the llama. Looks like it's a little bit too big for their house. And the balloon. Up, up, up goes Pokko. But the biggest mistake was the drum. And there's Pokko reaching out for that drum. You can see she really, really wants it. "We shouldn't have given her that drum," said her father. "What?" said her mother. "The drum is too loud. I can't hear you." "The drum was a big mistake," said her father. "That sounds like a wonderful idea," said her mother, who still could not hear what he was saying. The next day, her father said, "Pokko, why don't you take your drum outside for a little while? But don't make too much noise. We're just a little frog family that lives in a mushroom, and we don't like drawing attention to ourselves." Do you think Pokko will be able to be quiet? Pokko agreed, and she set out as quietly as she could. It had just rained, and the forest was sparkling like an emerald. Do you see who's lurking back here? A raccoon. I wonder what he's thinking when he sees Pokko. And it was very, very quiet. Too quiet. Pokko started tapping her drum just to keep herself company. And something stirred behind her. What do you think it is? Oh, a raccoon playing a banjo started following her. So Pokko hit her drum louder. Then a rabbit playing a trumpet started following them. But Pokko kept on playing her drum. So now we have 1, 2, 3, all playing music together. Uh-oh. And then a wolf, who couldn't really play anything, but was very happy to be near the music, joined in. And Pokko still played her drum. But then the wolf ate the rabbit, and Pokko stopped playing her drum and faced the wolf and said, No more eating band members or you're out of the band. I'm sorry, said the wolf. And he meant it. He doesn't want to be kicked out of the band. And then they all started playing again. And soon there was a crowd of animals playing instruments. There's a turtle playing a bugle, it looks like. Yeah. This small hippo playing a trumpet. Oh, and even a little mouse with a, maybe like a glockenspiel. And a crowd of animals following them around, enjoying the music. So these are all the animals that enjoy just listening to the band play. And they were all following, that's right, Pokko. Pokko, your dinner is ready, shouted her father. No one answered, but he could hear music in the distance. And the music grew louder, which means they are all getting closer. And it got louder. Until the crowd swept through the house and carried Pokko's parents off into the woods. Oh no, said her father. Oh dear, said her mother. I think that's Pokko down in front, said her father. And you know what? What? Said her mother, who was just getting to the best part of her book. I think she's pretty good. And no one could hear what he was saying. But if they could, there's Pokko. They all would have agreed. And so, that's the story of how Pokko's parents regretted giving her the drum, but then Pokko became an incredible drummer. Now, to help us think about this book and this story a little bit after we've closed the cover and are done reading, I have two exciting activities for you. The first is making a mushroom house. One of my favorite parts about this story is the mushroom house that Pokko and her family lived in. I made a mushroom house using an old lampshade and some wax paper, but you could also use a bowl and a cup. And I also used a paper towel tube. And do you see this little door here? Would you like to see who's inside? Let's knock. Do you have an animal at home or a little toy that would like to live in a mushroom house? I did. So I made my own little Pokko and my own little mushroom house for her to live in. The other activity that you can do with this book is to make a drum. Now you probably have lots of things in your house that you can make a drum out of, like an old pot, or I had this bucket. And so I painted a Pokko and a drum on it, and I have 2 wooden spoons, and you can practice tapping out different rhythms. Like, for example, if I said ta, ta, tee, tee, ta, we could play it on our drum. Ta, ta, tee, tee, ta. You can play fast and loud, or you can play slow and soft. All right, but what other activity you decide to do today, whether it's the mushroom house or making your own drum, I hope you have fun and share this story with your family. All right, I will be back with more books and stories soon from my home library. See you soon.